Kyla is going to come up. She's the CEO and clinical therapist at the Kyla Fox Center. She also spoke at a WTO meetup once before and had a really great talk before, and that's why she's back with us tonight. So please come up to the stage and share your wonderful story with us, because I'm so curious.
Thank you so much. We were talking in the green room about how most people get my name wrong, and that's kind of been the case for a lot of my life. I think that's probably what got you nervous about it.
I was ready, and then as soon as I got up on stage,
What's her name? Okay, I'm just gonna put on my glasses so I can see you. Okay, there you are. Hi. So I might be the only one on stage tonight that isn't a part of the tech world, so why would I be here? Because I really believe in seizing opportunity. So before I tell you a little bit about what I do and maybe why I'm here, I'm gonna tell you a story about my life. One of many stories of my life. So many years ago, when I was really young, too young to be married, in my opinion, I had been dating this person for a handful of years, and the trajectory of our relationship was such that we would be married. And I didn't want to marry this person. I really knew that. I always actually really knew that. But I didn't know how to use my voice to say otherwise. And so after many years of being together, that seemed like the next step. And so we got married. And on our wedding day, which was this small, intimate family gathering, I remember not actually even being present for the ceremony, to the point where the rabbi who was marrying us had to actually stop and say to me, "Kyla, are you okay?" And it was in that moment that I realized I was not even present for this supposed life-changing experience. And some months went on, and it was 6 months later that I went to my parents and I said, I can't do this anymore. I need to get out. They were very supportive, and I hemmed and hawed about whether or not I could do this. And there was one night where I was lying in bed, and he was lying in bed. It's not going where you think it's going, I promise. And I just rolled over and I said, "I'm done. It's over." And he just rolled over. And it was that moment that I had stepped in and used my voice in a way that I felt so terrified to do, that I felt finally like I was stepping into my life. And the interesting thing about that experience is that that wasn't the only place in my life where I felt I was silenced. As a result of being silenced in this relationship that wasn't really for me, I was also in a job that didn't really feel like a job that I really wanted to be in. I was also, engaging with people that I didn't really feel connected to. And so the relationship was really exemplary of so many other aspects of restriction and silence that I felt in my life. So when I finally had the courage to use my voice and step in to end this, my world started to explode in a good way. I started to get the opportunities that I wanted. I started to step into my life in a way that was actually serving me. And I started to become myself. So who is that? So I'm Kyla Fox. I'm the CEO and founder of the Kyla Fox Center, which is primarily an eating disorder recovery center and women's wellness center in the private sector, which I started after 10 years of practice 8 years ago. So I've been practicing for a long time. And one of the things that people do in my work is they come in to see myself and my team because they have difficulties with food in their body, primarily. But what they end up realizing is that they're actually not stepping into their lives. They're actually binging, purging, and restricting in all other places in their life, which is essentially why they're doing it with food in their body. So when they work with us, we have this beautiful opportunity to actually help them step in to use their voice so that they don't need to put out their harmful behaviors in other places in their life. Has anybody ever done that? Just show of hands. Everybody stepping in and using their voice, or not so much? Yes? So? There's like, this is what's happening. Who's not using their voice? Brave. Okay. I think so many people might not be using their voice. And so when people come into the center, we have this opportunity to help them do that. Now, because we have a limited amount of time, I'm not sure what time we're at, but I'm going to just be mindful of this. I wanted to introduce some little takeaway that you could think about. So, how many of you want to get paid your worth? Show of hands. Yes, everybody knows that. That's good. How many of you want to be taken seriously in a meeting? I've been to so many tech companies where I've worked with women who do not feel they're being taken seriously in meetings. How many of you want to be given credit for your ideas? Yes. How many of you want to be the lead developer on a project? Oh, that's funny. I thought we were going to be on a roll. Everybody was like, yes, yes. And suddenly the hands went down. How many of you are lead developers on a project? How many of you want to stay that way? Good for you guys. Yeah, round of applause. That one's not as clear. How many of you never ask for the things you want? Some hands. Okay. What I want you to think about is because you might restrict these asks, I should say, at work, you will inadvertently be playing out these restrictions in your life. So for example, how many of you have been in an experience where you might not feel like work really supported you one day? You might not have had your idea heard in a meeting, but then you end up going home and you're just kind of moody and mean and like dismissive of your partner, you know? Maybe just like go right up to bed, or you just kind of have a little bit of an aggressive exchange, right? Or if you're a parent, I'm a mom, so I come by this honestly. You might get home and decide you don't want to take your kid to practice, or that you just don't have the patience to move them through the emotional experience they're going through. That if something is happening to you where you're not using your voice, the likelihood is that it will play out in other places of your life that you feel you can control. So if you couldn't get what you wanted at work, you might take it out at home or somewhere else. Yeah? Make sense? So one of the things that people come to me around primarily is that what they end up doing is they play this out with food in their body. So if they can't get the thing that they need at work, they might then show that in their relationship with food. Like maybe they won't eat about it. Or conversely, maybe they'll eat so much about it because they want to fill that. And we do all kinds of different things to either exemplify this restriction or fill ourselves, binge on things in ways that don't actually serve us. But what ends up actually happening is that people still end up going back to work the next day and not using their voice for the things that they really want to change. So what I wanted to just bring forward today in my brief time with you was an opportunity for you to consider how you could seize the opportunity of using your voice, how you could step in to that meeting, how you could have a voice to your CEO, how you could ask for that raise so that you could then live relationally the way that you feel you want to. You could parent the way that you want to. You could maybe be in the body you felt comfortable being in. My hope is that when we start to do this more often, we start to get all of the things that we really want. And that's really what I wanted to leave you with today. Thank you so much. Happy International Women's Day in a week.